Very angelic.
Very, very play school.
It just feels very play school.
Okay. Noah, why are we here today? What are we talking about?
Well, today we are here because we decided that Izac and myself have spoken way too much on this podcast.
Yep.
And we're going to do probably a number of episodes here about Jackson and how he came to be such a special, important boy.
It's going to be a long few hours.
Well,
a long few hours for me.
For listeners who might not know, Jackson is sort of the head honcho producer for myself and Izac.
Yeah.
Sort of in our productions. We go to him with all of our problems and he fixes everything for us.
Yep.
We never would have made a film, I don't think, without Jackson. We never could have.
Yeah.
And that's that, I guess.
There's a misconception with Noah and I. Noah and I don't make films. We make problems,
Yes.
and then Jackson makes films.
Exactly right.
That's what happens.
Yeah, I think I have enough qualifications and experience to become a firefighter, putting out all the fires that these guys
Right.
give me, so...
Literal fires.
Sometimes literal, yeah.
Yeah.
So my first question for Jackson, when did you decide that, or maybe did you decide, that film was a thing that you wanted to do, like, with your life? When did you make this terrible decision?
This horrible, regretful decision,
Yeah.
In high school, there were two classes that I was getting good grades at, and that was drama and film and TV.
Huh.
And
Okay.
so when it came time to decide what university courses that I wanted to partake in, you know how you rank like your preferences for whichever degree you want to go into. So I put in my rankings and I thought, well, I actually don't really know what I want to do in my life. So I'll probably just go with what I seem best at. And so actually, funnily enough, when I put in my rankings, my preferences for my university degree, I put drama first and then film second.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. But the Griffith University offered me, entrance into the degree first, so I just kind of took it.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I thought, I've always loved watching movies. I liked making them in high school. Like, that was probably one of the funnest classes I've had so far. And so I just kind of took the opportunity when it arrived, and haven't really looked back since.
You missed out, NIDA.
Yeah, absolutely. Missed out on one of the good ones.
I auditioned for NIDA at one point.
You did?
You did?
I did
How'd
not
that
get
go?
it. I did not get it.
What did you have to do, like Shakespeare? Or...
I had to do a Shakespeare and a contemporary piece.
Nice.
In front of a whole lot of people, and it was
Was it
absolutely nerve-wracking.
Monologue?
Yeah, monologue.
Which one?
What? Yeah. What?
Shit, I can't remember.
Okay.
Man. Shakespeare, I think it was Richard III monologue.
Yeah.
I think, and I can't remember what the contemporary piece was. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I did both, and just didn't get in, unfortunately.
Man, I would kill for that footage.
I would love that.
I'll see what I can do, but no promises, because that's just, I'm burning that hard drive, bro. That's never gonna see the light of day.
I'm putting Jackson in a tunic. First chance I get. Next script. Let's go. The feather hats, the whole bit.
Jackson's return to form.
Yeah.
I would kill that role, man. I'd kill it. Yeah.
So initially, what was it that made you pick drama over film?
At the time, I actually was interested in acting, mostly as, at the time, something on the side, not really like a future career choice, but it just seemed the most interesting to me. Like, I was happy to act in front of a screen, so film was a second option because I could probably do that at one point and sort of understand both behind the scenes and in front of the camera. But I thought acting just really interested me. It was just the most interesting thing to me. I didn't really know what I wanted to do at that point in time. I just knew that was one of the more fun classes, and I thought fuck working in an office. That was pretty much the extent of my plan in life. Maybe I'll become an actor.
It's a good starting point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, just something in entertainment, I think, was like the overall idea.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
So then you show up at uni,
Mm-hmm.
and then...
Yeah.
Because I didn't meet you until, I want to say, halfway through first semester. Was that when we had, or was it second semester, when we had the TV subject in the multi-camera subject? We had to do that TV show.
That was second semester, I'm
Second
pretty
semester,
sure.
right,
I think
right.
so, yeah. I'm going to be honest, I can't really remember the first time we met or the first conversation that we had.
I do.
can't...
What was it?
What was it? Please share.
we I don't know how much of this story I can leave in or whatever. So we had to do this thing in class, I guess, and it was like a short TV segment or a TV show that we had to do for like the second assessment item or something like this.
Yeah.
Do you know this story?
Yeah.
Anyhow, a mate of mine, Harley. Hi Harley, if you're listening.
This story. Okay.
I think I
that's
know
why
the
I have to
story.
omit a lot
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah, right.
But
okay.
anyhow, he ended up directing it somehow, and like most subjects in university, the writing bit is completely neglected. It's just like, you're directing, I guess you're also writing.
Yeah.
And I think I was assistant director. I think that was my role. I can't remember. Anyhow, we both ended up writing this script, and it like ran through in class, and it was like mixed reviews. And Jackson volunteered, I think, or maybe didn't volunteer, but was put into one of the positions where he had to read for one of the characters, because we had to get like actors in to do the fake TV segment. But you read for one of the people, and it went over well. It was like funny, I guess. Like as you were reading it, I guess you were like laughing about it, and you were one of the people who I guess thought it was funny. So I kind of sort of knew that we were on the same page to some degree.
Yeah, yeah.
After the initial thing, and it sort of was mixed reception, you came outside the TV studio. We were sort of sitting at the front, and we were like, "Hey, whatever." And that was when I met Jackson, and we just talked about. I don't know what we talked about.
I think we talked a lot of shit, probably.
Probably, yeah. Probably talked a lot of shit. And that's it. That's how it went over well, I think. That was pretty much it.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I didn't make a fucking fool of myself.
No, it was good.
That's great.
Yeah, well...
I'm like starting to vaguely remember that now. Yeah, I don't remember the script, but I do remember like laughing while reading it because it was funny.
Yeah.
And I think I just talked to you probably about the script for a bit as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first memory that I actually have of meeting Noah, which was not the first time I met him, but it's the earliest memory that I have of talking to him, is first year university. I was at the cafe chatting with the girl, just, very casually, and I see Noah walking towards me, and he comes and sits down with us, and at the time, I was a little bit annoyed because this man was like just interrupting my riz. I was trying to chat up.
Come on, no.
I must have thought it was okay.
No, it's fine.
Was it under like circumstances where I'm sure I knew the girl and I'm sure I knew you? At that point.
I think he knew us both at the time.
Damn it.
And to be fair,
I fucked that up.
I was not doing a very good job
I didn't
anyway,
know
so
anything.
it was a great save.
Jackson could have been married with kids by now.
Damn it. But it was okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So the initial first. It's great that our first meeting together was me destroying your chances.
Destroying my
Oh,
life.
fuck.
That's okay. Nah, it was definitely for the best in hindsight.
Okay. Good story. I didn't know that. So that's that. Do you just remember it because I interrupted your riz, or do you remember anything we said? Or that's the only thing I remember it?
No, I actually can't remember much of what we
Okay.
said. I think we were just talking about general university stuff,
Fair enough.
assignments and whatnot. Like
Yeah.
nothing really crazy, but yeah.
Cool.
and then I think she left and we just talked for a bit.
Right.
That was it. Yeah.
Jackson's been
Great.
planning his revenge.
Yeah.
What great
For
funny
years.
news, yeah.
Yeah. So whenever I see you like I don't know, flirting with a girl or something, I'm just gonna come in and ruin it for
Thanks,
you.
man.
Just come
Really
and fuck it
appreciate
up.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
So
Nice
you guys were off
story.
to a ripper start.
We were off to a start.
Absolutely.
So now I'm learning that from the first time that Jackson remembers meeting me, he was just like, "You can fuck off." That's what I'm learning. It's like, I wish you weren't here right now.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't like that at all. No, it was funny. Yeah.
Great.
Jackson, when did we meet?
Because I think you met Noah first through some circumstance, but
We met in the script. I remember
Yeah.
that.
We
Scripts?
met.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we met Commonwealth Games.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, we were working together. You introduced me to Izac. Actually remember the first night of the Commonwealth Games, or one of the first nights, like I took a train home with you, and I was you just seemed like so tired, and you were just like not making conversation at all.
We were both off to river starts
Yeah.
with Jackson.
Yeah.
We
Like when we were on the coast on the internship.
yeah, like on the train or bus ride home.
Well, it would have been 2 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been crazy. Like, it was completely understandable. But I was just like, "Oh, hey, Isaac, how you doing?" You're like, "Yeah, good." And then kind of just went quiet. I was like, okay,
I'm so
that's
sorry.
cool. No, it's fine. It's fine.
We both fucked
We
up.
fucked up. Why do you hang out with us? You know?
Bro, you guys just keep giving me scripts and I can't get out of it, man. I'm stuck in a cycle.
I remember.
That's so rough.
No, you guys are cool. You guys are cool.
I forget when it came about, but when Flesh and Ivory came about,
Mm.
and you were probably looking for a producer or something, and I said, Jackson's produced for me like a couple of times now. You should hire him or whatever.
Yeah.
Get him on.
Yeah, I was thankful as I remember you were number one on my list. I think I've said this before because anyone who I'd talked to said that you did an amazing job in second year, and then we got to the pitching subject, and I didn't even have to approach you. Like I thought we were gonna approach producers at the end, and you approached me after our first draft, like the first presentation of Flesh and Ivory, and you were like, "Can I produce it?" And I was like, "Oh my god, yes!"
Oh, there you go.
So it was such a win, yeah.
That's good. So I didn't put him on to you.
I think you suggested it. Well, I had him in mind, but Jackson
Did it himself.
liked the script,
Right,
so
right.
I was like, "Oh, that's just works out unbelievably
Good
well."
stuff.
No, yeah, they worked out great. I mean, like, after everybody did their pitches, like, because, you know, I do directors wanted producers. I didn't know that everybody thought I did a good job at the time, but I was like, I should probably get ahead of the curve. And yours was the only one that really stuck out to me at that time. It just had the most substance. It was like a really good script, and I think because you had to pitch the draft, or did you just submit it? I can't remember.
I had to pitch it in front of the class.
Yeah,
as well.
I liked your pitch, of course, and so yeah, it was just like the most obvious choice to me,
That's really cool.
and I wanted to fucking get in before anyone took you.
Thank God you thought that, man, about that awful early draft as well. Like,
15 out
God
of
bless.
100.
Yeah, literally the one I got failed for. God bless you. Jackson, I'm really curious. Like something that I heard about recently. Like it's a question that gets asked to a lot of filmmakers. And Matt Damon was talking about this because Matt Damon's mum, I think, is a child psychologist, and she said, "Oh, I always knew that you were going to be a performer or an actor of some sort because you had a real true enthusiasm for like playing dress ups as a kid or like drawing or engaging in the imaginative kind of things." How far back, this is a bit of an odd question, but how far back do you remember like really loving storytelling, you know?
That is a good question.
Like creating it or like hearing a good story or watching a movie, whatever.
Shit, that is a good question. I want to say it was probably not even really that early. I want to say like early middle school, I think. Maybe even like late junior school, somewhere around there. Because I would watch a few movies. This was at a particular time when my dad would just recommend every dad movie you could think of to me. Every fucking dad movie. It's like, oh, you've never seen Pulp Fiction? Well, you fucking sit down. I'll show you the best movie ever made. And just like, he would show me all of these movies, and at first I'd be like, nah, that's fucked. I don't want to watch that. Sounds boring. And then I'd see Bruce Willis with a katana, like, getting in a basement with a gimp suit, dude. I was like, what the fuck was this? And after watching a bunch of movies with my dad, I realized that I actually really did enjoy these different styles of storytelling and filmmaking. At that time, like, it was a lot of Tarantino. He showed me quite a bit of Tarantino, which I really fucking enjoyed. And I just kind of fell in love with it. I don't really know how. In regards to when I said I was like really into acting before, it was just like I would see characters on TVs and movies, not even ones that I've specifically picked out, like that I just see on, you know, whatever pops up on the TV, and I don't know, they do a monologue or a speech that really, you know, gave me chills or like really hit a core emotion inside of me, and I would literally just like research that actor. I'd like find the monologue and try to memorize it myself. I don't know why. It was just something I really enjoyed, like being able to memorize particular speeches that like really hit something inside of me. And every now and then I'd like try and perform it just in person because I was always fucking shy to do something in front of other people. So I was a bit of an introverted kid that would kind of do these things in the privacy of my own room. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of stemmed from there. So between those two things, filmmaking just kind of, became a natural path.
Beautiful. So sitting and watching movies with your dad's a big role.
Absolutely, yeah.
Pulp Fiction, any others?
He's been trying to get me to watch The Shawshank Redemption for fucking years.
You
You still haven't seen
I haven't seen it, and Dad, I'm so sorry. I went over to his place the other day, and he started going on a rant about how Shawshank was the best movie ever made. And I was like, probably, yeah, I'm still yet to see it. And he nearly disowned me on the spot.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta go with your dad on that one. It's not my pick, but it's a fair pick. It's a pretty common pick.
It's valid. It's valid. He did show me The Godfather a long time ago.
Wow.
I haven't really watched it properly since, but at the time I was like, fuck, this is pretty cool actually.
Yeah.
I think it was a lot of... He did show me some older Batman movies.
Yep.
That were really cool.
Oh, like Keaton's?
Like Keaton's and Val Kilmer's and stuff, and I was like, that's fucking cool, yeah. But obviously as a kid, Batman was fucking cool at the time, you know? I'm blanking on other movies at the moment, but I'm sure they'll come to me at some point, yeah.
No, that's alright, that's definitely answered that question.
Mike Myers movies.
Yeah?
Austin Powers, he fucking showed me Austin Powers as well, yeah. Loved that shit.
That other one?
Oh, Hear No Evil, See No Evil. You ever seen that?
I actually haven't.
Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor.
Oh, there's a movie with...
There's a movie with...
Those two are the leads?
They're the leads.
Okay,
Richard Pryor plays a blind person, Gene Wilder plays a deaf person, and they're both involved, like, they're both witnesses to a crime. I think it's like a robbery or something. And between the both of them, one's heard the event, one's seen the event, and they both get arrested, but they got to try and like work together to figure out who did it.
This.
It's fucking great.
That sounds amazing.
It's really funny, yeah. It's just like the best slapstick comedy, you know. Airplane as well. Airplane, I fucking love Airplane. The Naked Gun movies, sorry, they're all coming back to me now. Yeah, Leslie Nielsen, he showed me all of his movies.
He's so good.
I fucking love Leslie Nielsen.
I love that I got a real answer out of that, because I was trying to transition into what was the first time you saw the Cat in the Hat.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
As soon as you said Mike Myers, I was like, yeah. Austin Powers and...
Oh god, you said Austin Powers, like, oh shit, we got a real...
Yeah, right. And Shrek and Love Guru and...
Sorry. I don't know.
Great.
He didn't show me Cat in the Hat.
Damn it.
Damn, I'm
he
sorry.
He robbed you of a bloody good experience.
And he wants you on Shawshank and he hasn't even seen Cat in the Hat, you joke.
I know.
Yeah, what?
It's fucking hypocrisy at its
what
finest.
What kind of taste is your
I had written down a question that I feel like I can toss out now, which was basically like, you know, what movies convinced you that you wanted to make movies or whatever, but I guess I will transition that into something like, was there a point, or like a movie that convinced you, or a point of like working on something that convinced you that like, I think this is a good move and this is what I want to do?
I don't know if there was ever a particular point that made me, you know, have that sort of revelation or made me make that decision on the spot. I think it's always, like anything, kind of just a snowball of different things that build and get bigger. You know, the funny thing is, the first couple of projects I did almost convinced me I didn't want to produce anymore.
Right.
So I was like, this fucking sucks. Like, there's so much pressure. By halfway through, you're just fucking done with everything. It's not only until the very end that the final product is done that you're kind of happy that you did it. I did that a couple of times, and I was almost at a point where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. But to answer your question, I think doing Flesh and Ivory at uni did kind of cement my belief that this is something I could do, because it was one of the more enjoyable experiences of producing like an actual, you know, short film, where I didn't just fucking hate myself halfway through it.
I'm glad I could help out with that. That's good.
So I appreciate that. Thank you. So yeah, that definitely helped, having like at least one good producing experience. I mean, the one we did in cinematography was fine. It was like a much smaller production.
Yes.
Barely a film.
Yeah, not a good film.
It was an assignment, like,
but it was. I remember that set being okay for the most part.
It was fun, yeah, but even then, like, I was still like, I don't know if I want to do this. So I'd say like producing Flesh and Ivory kind of gave me some sort of, I want to say like hope that I could do it again.
Dude, you were amazing in Flesh and Ivory.
Thanks. Yeah.
The amount of stuff you had to organize for that.
Yeah, I did have like the support of the university, of course, so it does make it a lot easier. And producing outside of university, like on Bloom, was a very different experience.
Yeah.
A very, very different experience. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question at all.
No, it's good. It's a good answer. I didn't expect like a... And then I had an aha moment where God peeked through the clouds and told me that this was my destiny, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't happen.
No. So I guess my next thing is like, you've mentioned, I think, on this podcast previously that like Synecdoche, New York is your favorite movie or something like this.
Yeah.
Something like that. Is that, are we holding to that?
Oh, I'm holding to it. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
So the next question is like, all movies stop right now, sort of thing. No movies get made ever again, sort of thing. And if there is like a film that you wish you would have made or something you wish you could have been behind, is that Synecdoche, or do you want to be making like your favorite films, or is that what you want to be doing?
Yeah. I just wanted to make money as well, because
Right.
I fucking did it.
Yeah, exactly. For
No.
sure.
Synecdoche, New York is definitely my favorite movie.
Mm-hmm.
And if you gave me like one film that I could have produced,
Yeah.
it would probably be Synecdoche, New York. I've never had a film resonate with me as much as that one did.
Right.
And I think like a part of choosing which films that you want to produce is one that has meaning to you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not just that you think it's going to make money. Like I think it's really hard to produce something that you don't have any sort of emotional connection to or passion for.
It's hard enough already.
It's hard enough already, yeah. And so, yeah, I think if I chose one film, it would probably be Synecdoche to produce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about not only Synecdoche? Well, we can pull out other films here, but like, let's just talk about Synecdoche. We haven't done it much on this podcast, but
Yeah,
like,
we can
it's
talk
your
about
favorite
it,
movie.
yeah.
It's my favorite movie. It's
Hell
one
yeah.
of Izac's
It's one of
very favorite
top
movies.
5.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
Hell yeah.
So why is that your favorite movie?
Shit. I remember when you first told me about it, you left it pretty vague, and you were like, it's about a theater director that gets a whole bunch of money and decides to put on a play, and it takes place like, for decades over the end of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that sounds pretty fun. I'll give it a shot.
What a
joyous
that's
occasion.
that is the best pitch for Synecdoche ever.
That wasn't like verbatim, but I was like the kind of gist
Have
of
the
what you
boys
told
over,
me.
Order some Nando's.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want some
Watch
easy
Synecdoche.
viewing,
Yeah.
Well-
just think about your life
Yeah.
for 2 hours.
That didn't convince me to watch it though, because I haven't seen any Kaufman movie up to that point.
That was your first
Synecdoche
Kaufman?
was-
No,
first Kaufman.
well, no, sorry. When you
Okay.
told me that, I haven't
Sure,
watched any.
okay.
And then there was a screening of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind at university.
Oh,
Right.
on my birthday.
Yeah.
That screening.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
the first Kaufman
Wait.
movie I've ever watched.
Where we watched it on Vimeo.
Yeah, we watched
Someone
literally.
uploaded the whole movie.
Yeah.
My friend from Nando's who was there, we couldn't find a copy,
Yeah.
and the projector wasn't working,
I
and he
remember
was
that.
like, dude, I literally found it, and we were like, where is it? And he said, it's just on for free on Vimeo, in like full HD.
Yeah, full 1080p.
And we're like,
That's fucking
okay.
great.
Yeah.
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 And so, yeah, you guys were actually, I think I remember this correctly, you guys were trying to convince me to come and watch this. And I was like, yeah, maybe. But I didn't have much else going on that night, so I was like, fuck it, sure. New director, haven't seen him before, see what he's like. Like, you guys pitched the movie pretty well, and I could just hang out with some friends. Like, it seems like a good time overall. And so I watched the movie, and it was definitely very unique. It was something that I've never really seen before. The acting was amazing. The writing, of course, was fucking exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a beautiful movie. And I was thinking about it for a couple of days after that, about how it related to my own life, well, at that time I haven't been in a relationship before, but like, myself and my relation to other kind of relationships in my life. And after that, I was like, okay, I remember Noah talking about this movie called Synecdoche, New York. Let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens.
I love that.
And-
It's just like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, most accessible, like fun Kaufman movie by a landslide, probably. Synecdoche, New York.
Oh, yeah.
Least accessible.
Yeah.
I went
Definitely.
fucking deep down the rabbit hole,
Yeah.
like immediately. And so I watched the movie, and by the end, I was just like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
I was so confused during that
Yeah,
entire
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
You're like, why was it so quick?
Yeah. I was like, oh, he's old now? Oh, what? Wait, why is there fucking clowns pushing people into a bus? What the fuck's happening?
Yeah.
I was so confused. But it left me with this really weird feeling of existential crisis afterwards. And it was really strange that I didn't quite understand the movie as a whole, but it still left an impact on me that actually lasted like 2 days. And I couldn't get this fucking movie out of my head. And so I think you recommended the YMS
Yeah, it's
series
really good
Oh,
on
yeah.
Synecdoche New
yeah,
York.
Yeah, great breakdown.
Yeah, and I watched the first one, and I sort of gained a little bit better understanding of what this actual film was, and so I watched it, and it sort of put things into context for me that allowed me, upon second viewing, to have a bit more of an understanding of, well, I guess, give me a better way to interpret Charlie Kaufman's work,
Yeah.
so that it made a little bit more sense to me. I think I've watched this movie like 5 times now.
Yeah.
It's the movie I've watched the most for sure. And so after watching it a few times, it's really strange because each viewing of this film has been an entirely different experience. Is that the same for you guys?
Yeah, I just gain more every time. It's one of those, I can't even tell you how many fucking times I've watched this movie, or even just
Last time I checked with you, it was like 25.
Yeah,
US
it's
Jesus
something around
Christ.
that. I've seen it a lot, but it's also like a thing that I'll throw on, like, I will be writing, and then I'll need to, like, cross-reference a thing, or, like, understand how Charlie did a thing. So I'll watch the scene, and then I'll be like, it's just so good, and I watch the next scene, and I'm like, fuck it, I have to start watch the whole thing again.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those, like, there's a few movies that will do that to me, where it's just like, you can't just get to you, and you have to keep going.
Yeah.
It's like my screenwriting Bible, to me at least, where it's just like, this movie does everything, and it does everything better than, like, almost every other movie. Like, you
Yeah.
can take any single 2-minute scene out of Synecdoche, New York, and there's more depth and exploration in it than most full other movies.
Yeah, 100%.
So, like, yeah, I don't know. What was your question again? I've forgotten.
If it's been like a different experience every time you've watched it.
Different, maybe not totally different, but definitely it's like a big fucking wake up call anytime I watch it. It's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah. Here we go again.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think that every time I do watch it, I gain a little bit of something. It's just like one of those things. There are some albums like this. They throw so much stuff at you that it's just impossible for you to absorb everything, at least in a viewing. And the same thing is also one of those movies where, in order to unpack just the plot alone, you need a few watches.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Ending Things recently. Same sort of deal. Like, if you've watched it twice, maybe even 3 times, it's still like you haven't even seen the movie because you just don't know what the plot is.
My first viewing of I'm Thinking of Many Things, I didn't even... honestly, and I saw it with my friend Toby the day that it dropped on Netflix.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize, maybe I'm stupid for not realizing, but I didn't even realize that Jesse? No.
Yeah.
Jesse
Plemons.
Jesse Plemons, but what's his character's name? I forgot. Yeah, Jesse. I didn't even realize he was the janitor.
Yeah, I didn't.
I really did not. I thought it was just a cool juxtaposing thing.
I thought we were playing around with like multiple different versions of timelines. I thought we were doing some like Mirror Tarkovsky shit where we were like having different actors play different single part, which does happen in the movie.
Yeah.
But it turned out to be a little simpler than that, plot-wise. And then after you watched it like 5 times, you're like, wow, this is the best movie of the decade already, and we've not even started yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has been different, maybe, because I get the same feeling every time I watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's totally different.
Gotcha.
What do you
that
mean
makes
when
sense.
you say that it's different?
I guess different interpretations of the story, because I remember, I think we've all spoken about this or heard Charlie talk about this, where he says he kind of packs so much information into the movie that you could have different viewing experiences and kind of just pull different things out of it and have a different interpretation of what it might be about. And so every time I watched it, I picked up on something that almost completely shifts for me what the story might have been about or trying to say.
Right.
Which is really fucking wild, because I've watched it 5 times and every time I've seen something new and I'm like, oh, that kind of changes the context for that specific scene or the specific story as a whole, and just gives me a different feeling. Like even now, I'll watch it and I'll actually laugh at some points because it's kind of funny.
It's so funny.
It's really funny.
It's funny.
And I didn't fucking pick that up until like watching it 3 times. I'm like, oh, that was actually pretty fucking hilarious. It started as a really tragic existential crisis, and now it's like a kind of a dark comedy.
Yeah.
It definitely.
really
Charlie
weird.
says that it's a comedy
Yeah.
for sure.
It's funny.
It is a comedy.
It's just that I think when you watch it maybe the second time around, because the first time is a total write-off almost, and then the second time around, maybe second, third, when you realize the story of the film, it's like it feels inappropriate to laugh, right?
Yeah.
And then after that sort of initial depression has washed over you, you start to find the bits that are funny, or like at least you can pay attention to the humor, because like I mean the first time and like
I'm not gonna lie, my first viewing where you were
No.
there, no, I was pissing myself
Oh,
laughing.
I remember,
I was laughing like a lot.
You were.
Yeah.
I do remember this. We were at. Oh, I remember.
We were at my house.
I don't know if I can tell this story, but we were at your house.
Yeah.
And,
Why couldn't you tell the
oh,
story?
well, I'll tell it, and then we'll see if we cut it out.
Okay.
This might not. But we were. It was with Calvin.
Yeah, I think it was my friend Davo
And
as
Dave,
well,
yeah,
because that was Davo's favorite film.
There you
He
go.
was keen to watch it with
Right,
us as
right.
well. Yeah.
And there's the scene where Sammy comes in. Can I say this?
Sammy's
on the
monologue.
podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sammy goes, at that point, Isaac's mum walked into the room. And, like,
Just to be like, do you guys need a
Yeah.
snack? Like,
Yeah.
can I get you some tea? Or something like that, and Sammy says, well, we can probably get away with saying Sammy's auditioning to Caden.
Yeah.
And Sammy says the chimera
yes,
comment.
the chimera lines. Yeah. And
Which is like
Isaac's mum-
extremely erotic. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
And Mum goes, oh, and then walks
out
out.
of the room.
Mum was like, I like Isaac's new film friends.
That's so bad. That's such
It was
bad
great.
timing.
That was
Fuck
so
yeah.
good. I loved it. It's a good
And
memory.
I think my dad was a bit, from memory, I think, because I talked to my dad a lot afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And because he could hear us laughing a lot
Right.
from the next room over.
Sure.
And he was like, what was that movie you watched? And we were like, oh, it's about in this. And I explained the premise. And my dad said, that's really sad. And we're like, yeah, it is. But it's really funny. Like, you sound like a madman trying to explain it without the context.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
it just doesn't... It's like even one of the scenes, without the comedic pacing that's just implemented with the editor, with Philip Seymour Hoffman, with Catherine Keener.
Oh, yes.
With Catherine Keener.
Yes, yeah.
It's like, Dad, you wouldn't believe it. There's these two married people, their marriage is failing, and then one of them says that she has dreams about the husband dying. It's so funny.
Yeah.
And you say that, and it's like, why is that funny?
Yeah. Oh, so good.
It's like, also there's the boy genius therapist that kills himself when he's 5 years old. It's so funny. You know, like, it's like, that's not funny.
It is
but
funny,
it is
though.
funny.
It's so funny.
It's fucking hilarious in the scheme of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Fucking Caden having to bury his parent with like cotton balls in this
Oh
tiny
my
coffin.
God.
That's so good.
Fucking funny.
Because he's too small. I love that.
There
That's
wasn't
such a
much
good
left of
bait
him.
and switch. Yeah, we're like, we'll have to fill the coffin with cotton balls. You're like, okay, so maybe he's too small for a regular coffin.
Yeah.
Is your assumption?
Yeah.
And then the coffin is like as big as this glockenspiel.
They're just watching it get lowered into the ground. Like, it's fucking, it's so great.
I think we've talked about this, Jackson. I'm sure you know, like Synecdoche, barely any budget, 20 million. 20
Something
million.
like 20. I think he said 18 at one
Yeah.
Q&A.
Shot in 30 days,
40 days maybe.
40 days.
I think.
back to back to back
I
to
could have
back.
this all wrong, but
Yeah.
but yes, it was like absolute hell from what Charlie seemed to have said. Yeah.
With your producing brain, when you know that these are the kind of films you want to see,
200 scenes. Jackson.
and you know
I'm
that
starting to regret my
Yeah,
answer,
right.
bro. Fuck yeah.
and you know that they don't receive a lot of funding a lot of the time because films like Synecdoche especially like famously bombed incredibly hard.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts as a producer looking ahead into your career, you know, and seeing the scripts that Nora and I are giving you?
Are very profitable scripts that are very appealing to a mass audience.
To mass audience, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Films that can compete with like an Avengers that Noah and I are making.
Shit.
That's the answer.
I'm aware that the kind of scripts and stories that we are currently producing at the moment is not very marketable to a mass audience. However, I hope you guys as well are not solely in it for the money, because if that is the case, then you guys need to be writing some more fucking like spoofy comedies or some shit. Although it would be fantastic. Watch some fucking Judd Apatow and write something like that already.
I like
Charlie
some
Kaufman
Judd
loves Judd
Hey,
Apatow, doesn't he,
He
Jason?
fucking loves him, yeah. Fair enough.
This
fair
is
enough.
40, one of his masterpieces. As per B. Rosenberg.
Greatest critic of our time.
Greatest critic ever, yeah.
Yeah, look, like I'm completely aware that the stories that we're making at the moment are not, like I already said, they're not very marketable, not very likely to make much money. But I don't think money is the be all end all. I mean, we are in a creative industry, and good art can be more significant than a profit. I'd rather make a film that is meaningful and culturally significant than one that makes $1 billion at the box office. Although the money would be fantastic, everybody's going to forget about Avatar and Titanic.
Yep.
Fire.
That's fucking fire. Holy shit.
People haven't forgotten about Titanic. It seems to have some staying power.
Interestingly enough, Titanic is still a pretty fucking good movie.
Yeah, I like Titanic. Like, it's really good.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, but like,
but in terms of, I know what you mean. Like in terms of personal significance in comparison to like an Eternal Sunshine or Synecdoche.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not even talking about like the masses. I just mean if I can make a film that sticks even with a small group of people for a long period of time, like that'll be so worth it, you know?
Yeah.
If I can make a Synecdoche New York that stuck with somebody as much as it stuck with me and all of us, like I'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah. I think there's definitely something to that, and this is me thinking with the money brain, so forgive me, but there must be something to the fact that over time, I've seen very successful film, right? Avatar. I've seen Avatar maybe twice in my life. Synecdoche, I've seen 6 times, right? I've paid to see it 6 times, whether it's on demand or YouTube or whatever. Well, you've seen Synecdoche 5 times. We've all watched so much YouTube content around it that has given streamers money. Like I know that YMS has had however many views on the Synecdoche series.
Sure, yeah.
You've seen Synecdoche 20-something, 30-something times probably now.
Fucking no.
There's got to be something to that.
Yeah, no, it's... There has to be. I mean, like, I know there are a lot of Marvel fanboys that go and watch Endgame every other weekend.
Yeah,
and that is completely fair. Like, if you really fucking enjoy something, it doesn't matter what kind of film it is. Synecdoche just has some strange ability to completely attach itself into our fucking psyche and just stick in there like a leech. Yeah. You just can't get rid of.
I guess it's just like the fact that obviously you're working off a smaller budget with a much tighter schedule for stuff like that because there's less money to make it. Yeah. And that makes your job very
that's
hard.
right. We were talking about producing it.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah. I remember Charlie vaguely talking about making that movie. So we said like 40 days, every day. Philip Seymour Hoffman was in pretty much every scene except like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Fuck, sometimes you just have to do what you have to do, you know?
I mean, the way that those things work, they give you the number of days. Basically, and say this is how many days you have to shoot the thing.
Right.
And you don't have the sort of power that somebody like Kubrick has, where he's like, no, I want a year, but the crew's going to be like 10 people, which is the case for like most of Kubrick's stuff, or like a lot of it was just like we keep the if we can stretch the money out by having less people have to work for us, sort of thing. I heard Charlie once, I think this was at Ebert Fest when Roger Ebert screened Synecdoche towards the end of his life. And they had a bunch of the producers and everybody on stage. It was a great Q&A. And Charlie said something live that was like, somebody made a comment about the fact that this was like the birth of some sort of like mid-budget classic movie thing that was happening. And Charlie said on stage after somebody said that something like, and I think this movie also was sort of the death of those movies because it showed people that this sort of cinema, this sort of like movies in this mid-budget range, not super high budget, not super low budget, but with all these super acclaimed actors who are so significant that stuff's not going to make money. And so nobody would greenlight it after that. Also, it was literally at the very end of when Hollywood was sort of throwing money at anything because 2008 happened and then nobody wanted to fund anything anymore, right? So, and Synecdoche was released in 2008, so they got in the nick of time. If they had tried to get Synecdoche made a year later, it wouldn't have happened probably.
What a miracle. There are a lot of miracles that made that film.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Phil Hoffman signing on to do 200 scenes in 40 consecutive days is a miracle.
Well, who else would you even
no one
had the dedication? Or like, yeah, and the fact that he's that good, I mean. I've heard Charlie say also in interviews that like that was pretty much everybody who he approached as his first pick for roles said yes.
So lucky.
But how could you, I mean, if you had half a brain, I want to say, and you read that script, you're fucking, come on.
You gotta say
Yeah.
It's the most insane thing you probably ever read. So like,
One of the reasons I like Synecdoche so much, this is probably going to get a little bit deep actually. I don't know why, but ever since I was maybe just turned 18, probably closer to 20, it's like I've been having this constant quarter of midlife crisis because I've like been just thinking about my own death like a lot. I don't know why, but it like every other day it'll just pop up like, fuck, I'm gonna die. And I'm always like considering how I want to die, not in like the way that kills me, but like the kind of life I want to have at the end of my life. And who I like want to be surrounded by when I die. And so when I watched this movie, a lot of the themes really resonated with me. But when I think about this now, after watching this movie, I kind of realized that I could probably spend my life trying to get success, fame, money, but you know, by the end, who's ever really going to remember me after I die in like, you know, 100 years?
yeah.
So if I could just make really good films that resonate across time, that'll probably leave a better legacy than me making $100 million and just fucking, you know, making Avengers Endgame
Yeah.
and spending it all on hookers and cocaine, you know?
I think what Synecdoche sort of gets at some degree is like time is the most important commodity. It's like the only thing in life that you don't get any more of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Bob Dylan lyric that is like, he who ain't busy being born is busy dying.
Yeah.
It's that like, it runs out, it's not filling up again, and there's nothing you can do to fill it up again.
Yeah.
And so, Synecdoche is a good movie for that, because it's just like, here's this man wasting his life attempting to make like a perfect piece of art while attempting to live life. And I've seen like Fellini's 8.5 compared to Synecdoche New York quite a lot. And there's parallels with that, similar to how like this guy's trying to put this movie together, and his life, his personal life, and everything surrounding the making of like the entertainment industry consistently gets in the way of his ability to make a movie, including himself and just terrible decisions he makes. So like, it's that thing of just like, time's gonna go by and you're gonna waste a lot of it, but it would be nice to be dying and think like, I actually did something significant, as opposed to just like chasing cheese forever.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, time is probably one of the more important currencies to own. Being so young, we don't have much money, but we're billionaire in seconds.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet there are a lot of billionaires who, if you said you can lose all your money, but you'll have your 50 years back, they'd probably take it.
Probably, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There's a great scene in Synecdoche where Diane West, that's her name? The one who plays like Ellen, the...
Or Ellen Baskin.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. She has that monologue when she's talking to Caden and talking about how he's in stasis and anti-stasis.
Yeah.
That scene. And that is great because Caden he is like, you know, technically alive in the film, but he's also living a life in which he's so focused on his work and he's so focused on his own death that he's actually not really living his life.
Yeah.
And I feel like that a lot of the time, where I'm just, you know, working on, you know, at the bar, working on Calligram, which is great, but sometimes, you know, you just want to go explore, but you need money to do that, so you're constantly working to try to get enough money to live your life. It's like, fuck, sometimes you feel like you are in stasis and anti-stasis at the same time. It's tough. It fucking resonates, man. It fucking resonates. It's
really not shy about those facts, is it, Synecdoche?
Yeah.
It's like the most honest movie ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking honest.
Yeah. I love all her stuff, all her monologues and stuff.
Oh
that
my
one,
God.
especially that one towards the end, when he's
Dude.
driving around on the golf cart and shit. I can't even watch the scene. It's just like the most painful scene ever.
I watched Synecdoche about a month ago for the first time in maybe like 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And I'd always liked the Ellen Bascom storyline, but I was always really focused on Caden during that point of the story. And I really like took the moment to... It's cool once you've digested something, you know, like I guess that's what rewatch gives you. It's like I'll digest a section of Synecdoche, and because I've digested it, when I watch it I know it's coming, so I can look at something else and digest that and look at something else, digest that, and there's so many pieces, it keeps happening. But I got to really focus on Ellen Bascom, and especially that monologue about, without spoiling anything, it's about her mum and a picnic. And I was sitting on that couch there, and I was just weeping, uncontrollably weeping.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, and it's just cool too, because it's like, obviously it's not a situation that I've been in, you know? Like, Ellen Bascom is an old mum, is an old lady whose mum has passed away, long passed away.
Yeah.
And I'm, you know, a man in his early to mid-20s. Both of my parents are still alive, luckily.
Yeah.
I see them multiple times a week. But because it's all just about just the preciousness of life and the fact that it's always fleeting.
Yeah.
You know, there's no fleeting moments. They're all fleeting.
Yeah, for sure.
It just wrecked me.
Completely
destroyed me.
The other brilliant thing about it is that, like, Ellen is like an idea. Like, Ellen might not even exist.
Yeah.
And the fact that
Ellen is his, like, salvation,
sort
more or
of,
less.
Yeah. And that she's not real is an interesting thing to say, because it's like, well, you're watching a movie, so she's just as real as Caden is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's got that beautiful element of just like constantly reminding you that everything that you're watching is a story, which seems to be one of the most honest things that I think movies can do, where they go like, you're watching a movie, it's a story, but we're going to openly acknowledge that, and people think that breaks the illusion of it. And I only think it breaks the illusion of it if there's no truth in your movie. If there's real truth in your movie, it doesn't matter if it's a story, it's just as true or more true, because it's a compounded truth. If it's like Synecdoche and there's like 80 painful things in it every 2 scenes. It's like, no, this is even more real than like going about life, because you have that experience with it where it won't let you go, you know what I mean? That's why I think it's, to bring it back to this like making movies stuff, like those artifacts of like significant movies seem to be like some of the most important things that people have made. And I got asked once, I forget when it was, like might have been at a Christmas or a New Year's or whatever, and some relative asked me like what the best experience I had in a year was, and it was the first year I watched Synecdoche, and I was like, I watched this movie called Synecdoche New York. And they were like, yeah, but did you do anything this year? And I was like,
I watched Synecdoche New York. Yeah.
The idea that like I got to witness something that cost $20 million, that thousands and thousands of people tirelessly worked on for 50 days, that Charlie Kaufman wrote for 3 years, that like that's not a significant experience. It's like, that's one of the most important things, artifacts that exist. Like, I don't know what the hell I would do without that movie. I wouldn't be making movies without Synecdoche. So yeah, it's wild. I can see where you would watch it and be like, I totally get it. Where you're just like, it's this like, oh, now I have to think about dying every day or whatever. You know?
And it's crazy because it's, you know, it sounds funny and it sounds harsh to say I have to think about dying every day.
Yeah.
Thinking about dying every day is like, it's also extremely liberating.
Yeah.
Because it is a fact, like it's unavoidable. Whenever I watch Synecdoche, you know, like you see all of his regrets, because it's also a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
It makes me think like, oh, I should actually go do that thing that I'm scared of. Yeah. Because time goes like that, you know.
Yeah.
And it will be a long lost memory soon, you know. So like it motivates me. It's the same with I'm thinking of ending things.
Yes.
I'm thinking of ending things. It's like, don't be shy to go talk to that girl that you like. Because you'll remember it if you don't do it.
100%.
You know?
Almost every time I've watched Synecdoche, or you guys can tell me if this is the same sort of idea, because Jackson, I know at some point Jackson's gonna fucking write something and direct something, and we're gonna
I can't fucking wait.
Killer. I will like, there's when I'm watching really, really good films, even if I've seen them 1,000 times and they're still really, really good, I will often like be watching a movie, very into it, and then, provided I'm not watching it with anybody, pause it, and then, because it had some brilliant idea in it, and I'll take the idea out and like write about the idea for like 20 minutes until I have like made my own idea out of it, and then rewatch the movie again. But Synecdoche has never made me not want to do something important. Every time I watch the movie, I'm like, and now I have to fucking write something good. You know what I mean? It's like the best tool for like, let's fucking go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I'll write something one day.
We're gonna see
one
it.
day I'll
I
write
can't
something
fucking
for you.
wait. I cannot
We're
wait.
hyped. When you're like thinking about the sort of movies that you want to see made and come out, or this is a better question, when you think of the movies that you want to produce, are there things that you like, specific markers you look for in a script, or like, oh, I wish I could make a movie about this specific thing, or I wish I could see this thing expressed in a movie that hasn't been expressed before, or things like this? Because I think about those things sometimes and I think, well, cool, then I can write it, and then I do write it, and sometimes I can't figure out how to write it. Do you think about like concepts you want to see explored or things like that?
No.
Great.
Sorry. No, sorry.
Oh.
Well, like, do you mean in regards to like things I'd want to write or things I'd want to produce?
Yeah, anything. Like, do you? I mean, maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Are there like ideas that you feel like are left unexplored in movies, or you haven't seen a good movie about this specific thing, or something like that?
Not really. I've never really thought about it like that. Like, I try to not give myself any like prerequisites for scripts that I read that I might want to produce, especially with you guys. Like, I know I like a script when it resonates with me on an emotional level, makes me think about something probably that I haven't really thought before in regards to how it relates to my own life, usually, which both of your scripts have done really well. I try not to like I don't want to have a checklist in my head that I have to use for every script that I read.
For sure.
I don't want to have to read your scripts and be like, oh, okay, well, it doesn't explore this idea. Do I really want to produce it? No, fuck that.
Right.
You guys bring me a script. I read it. If I really like it, like I tell you, I haven't hated anything you guys have written, but like
That's good.
if I didn't really like it very much, I'd give you some like constructive criticism, I
Sure.
guess, or like I'd try to be as honest as possible. In regards to writing, like, I don't really try and think about concepts that I'd like to see, or concepts or ideas that haven't been done before. I haven't written anything yet as a start, but if I were to, like, I've got ideas for stories that I would probably like to write in the future, but they're more related to struggles or questions that I ask myself a lot.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's more of like a personal thing that I'm
Yeah.
trying to understand about myself, rather than like ideas that I haven't seen or watched that I feel like somebody should, so I go write it. It's nothing like that.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's a good.
That's the best producer
Yeah.
answer ever. It's like, I want to read a script that's personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, if you guys want to make an Avengers Endgame, that's fine. That's cool.
Well, superhero movies can be personal.
They can be.
They can be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah, they
fucking
can be.
There's
rare.
good examples. It's
Yeah.
just unfortunately few and far between.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
So what happens when a lot of things, you know, of one type get made? You know, the bigger the sample size, you know,
Yeah.
high quality is rare as a whole. So you're going to get low quality.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But nah, you guys have been doing a great job so far, and I just try to keep an open mind, pretty much.
Cool.
That's what it boils down to.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not going to stop talking right now, but we're going to transition out of this episode of whatever this is. Thank you, Jackson, for answering the questions very honestly and well, and that was cool. We're going to keep talking, so for you guys, you'll get to hear the next part of this in however many weeks. Sorry, but we're going to keep going. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.
See you soon.